What's up?
What about your work hat?
The Dickies? Oh, yeah, dry. Thank you. Sorry, I'm recording something.
Okay, no worries. I just found a drawing you want to see.
I appreciate it. What's up, y'all? First off, I just want to say thank you so much for the love and support of the new Palaka brand name announcement. The response has been amazing. I couldn't even expect that. I was really in my in my meticulous mind. I was in my perfectionist mind of how to roll out the name of the company, and I knew there was no other way besides having my family help introduce. And it seems like a lot of you really gravitated towards that, and thank you again to my family for coming out and really supporting that and just kind of embracing the change with me, because to move on from a different company is definitely hard, and to have everybody's kind of support and love, it's been overwhelming, and I just wanted to say thank you from that. So I really wanted to come on here and talk about the origin of the name and how it became what it became. So I'm hoping, when you think of me, Christopher Todorovic, a Filipino-American clothing designer, you think of my influences and inspiration of skateboarding and surfing. Skateboarding here in Sacramento is definitely part of the mecca of living down here, and surfing is something I'm super inspired by. Living so far away, the coastline is definitely far. I didn't really have the opportunity to properly learn how to surf. So I always kind of embraced surfing as just the culture, the people, the energy, just coastline. It's just amazing, So growing up watching that stuff, it inspired me. And, with the company, I knew, surfing and skateboarding, but this time around, I wanted it to be a lifestyle company. And I was like, okay, well, I need to design things that people who live coastline and the people who live, near the land like me, not near the water. So I was like, all right, so that's where that aspect of land and sea come, so land, skateboarding, sea, surfing. And for me, I've always liked mascots. I loved characters. So I knew I wanted to embrace some kind of character. So I really dived in. I was like, okay, what animals live on land and sea, or land and water? And there was a bunch that popped up: beavers, hippopotamuses, ducks, turtles, and then frogs came up. And I was like, okay, frogs, this is sick, right? But I can't name the company, Frog. And I looked more into the species itself, and there's 500 different type of species of frog, from poisonous frogs to garden frogs to river frogs to desert frogs. And each one of those frogs have different skins and different skin patterns. And I knew it's limitless that I can play with different skin patterns with frogs. And I was like, okay, well, this is cool, but I can't name the brand Frog. So I was like, all right, well, what could I name the brand? I was like, well, let's go back into your culture, bro. What is frog in your native family's tongue, Tagalog? And I pulled it up and it said Palaka. And I was like, oh, snap, that's pretty sick. I like the name of it, Palaka. And I was like, okay. But I feel like that's like the American way to say it. And I was like, well, what's the Filipino way of saying it? So I called my grandmother, and I asked her, and she said it's pronounced Palaka. So in Tagalog, it's pronounced Palaka. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. It kind of, it's kind of tough, especially reading it. And I was like, okay, well, I know in the Filipino native tongue it's pronounced Palaka, but as a Filipino American, I feel like it's better pronounced Palaka. For just the average consumer here, it would be easier to sound, so that's where Palaka comes into play. So but people could take it in different aspects as they want to name it Palaka, they want it Palaka or Palaka, which is the proper way of pronouncing it in Tagalog. However you guys want to pronounce it, I'm totally down. I think it's awesome that people can can, pronounce it in different ways. And I know in the Hawaiian culture, palaka also means, I believe it means like their garb or their clothing itself. So that was kind of like a cool way of, also playing with that, because in the Filipino culture, we also do have Polynesian style tribal designs, and Filipinos, they have their own type of tribal designs, and a lot of us like take inspiration from each other's Polynesian designs. So it kind of gives me that flexibility to kind of work on that as well, because I have a lot of that tribal tattoo stuff on me as well. So um yeah, so with this whole new project, I'm having a lot of fun. You're gonna see elements of, surfing. You're gonna see elements of skateboarding. You're gonna see a lot of floral pattern designs, because that's what I personally like. You're gonna see flannels like this. You're gonna see a you're gonna see a nice streetwear style mixed with this island wear. You're gonna feel like, okay, well, I can wear this in the streets, and then also I can wear this on vacation. So that's kind of like the direction that I'm heading in, is something that I like to wear all the time, and that's where Palaka comes from. So yeah, and just a quick thing. I know you guys probably seen this hat kind of often now. You see this logo with the P. My uncle actually helped me design the script for this logo, and he, he's an amazing designer. He's worked for Marvel for many years, and so to have him involved and help me kind of create the flow of um, the company's signature has been amazing. And a lot of, there's a little flower here. It's a four corner leaf flower, and this flower is actually a modern take on the flower from my Lola's gravestone. Yeah, so I took that same flower, I just modernized it. I just wanted to give it like a modern touch, but it's fully inspired by her gravestone flowers on her, or it's fully inspired by the flowers on her gravestone. So I just wanted to incorporate that into her, and that's why my first piece is going to be the Lola's couch jacket, to pay homage to the woman who pretty much started this whole generation of my family and I. Without her, she wouldn't have my grandmother, and without my grandmother, her having, my mom, and then me being born. So it all started and all stemmed from her, and she passed away a couple years back, and she was definitely a lot of the glue for the family. And so, for someone who, she didn't speak a lot, she barely spoke any English, she spoke Tagalog, but whenever I saw her with a smile, she would always give this type of energy. And the couple words that she said were, "Are you hungry? I miss you, and I love you." But she would talk to me in full sentences of, in Tagalog, and I would understand it. Eventually I started to understand it. I just couldn't speak back. So, but I knew exactly what she was saying, and I'm just really stoked that we're gonna be able to kind of like encapsulate that culture, that feeling of being like a Filipino American, and being able to just adapt to the streetwear, adapt to the clothing that is, constantly evolutionizing, and paving ways for that. And I've seen a lot of Filipino streetwear companies start to really bubble up, and I don't know if that's the algorithm or not, but I'm starting to see that a lot, and it's super cool that hopefully I can be able to join them in those lanes, and collaborate, and really start to speak our story. And just growing up Filipino American is definitely different. You grow up in a house full of kids, aunties and uncles, a lot of different foods, and just a lot of fun, a lot of karaoke, a lot of just, and a lot of us it's really stylish. A lot of people, a lot of us really love our clothes, to be honest. It's getting fitted, nice hats, nice shirts, sneakers. So it all ties together, and to be able to take everything that I've grew up with and kind of just encapsulate and bring that culture, and bring that, the and bring the skateboard, bring the surf, and bring my culture into it, and really collaborate all together, and come up with Palaka to represent that all. I'm super blessed and I'm super excited, and I can't wait to do more, you know. And the reason why we chose Palaka Pro as like our handle and our website domain, I knew when I started this company in a couple years, I wanted to host a surf and skateboarding competition, and I wanted to call it Palaka Pro. Like Palaka Pro just sounds so legit to me. And I was like, man, we can have surfing and skateboarding, maybe have it in Huntington Beach or have it in Santa Cruz. So Palaka Pro is just kind of one of those things, and you could play with it in different aspects of signing like professional athletes, or you can do it in like the Palaka Project Pro or Palaka Program, but it gives it um, that professional handle. It gives it a professional handle, therefore people know moving forward, like, okay, this is different. This is not just your typical, streetwear clothing brand coming out of Sacramento. No, I'm thinking bigger than that. I'm thinking, long term, that my kids are going to be able to take this and grasp it, and push it to a different level. So, but yeah, Palaka Pro is where we're headed, and Palaka is where I'm headed in the new direction. So just wanted to say thank you again to everyone for really just following along and really supporting me as much as you can. And I'm trying really, really hard to make sure this next project is something super special. And I just wanted to say, thank you to my family. My family is everything. My dad, my mom, my sister, my cousins, my aunties, my uncles, my fiance. Like, without them, I couldn't have pushed through this, because it's definitely been a tough ride over the last couple years of transitioning companies. So I'm super stoked. I'm super blessed. And yeah, man, you guys all rock. So, um, I'm gonna see you guys on the next one, and just thanks for taking the time just to listen to this. And if you guys made it this far, comment down a little frog emoji for me. And yeah, all right, guys, and until the next one, I'm out. Later.